friends. Today on Chuck and Dirt, we're going back to the 1908 house from the previous episode, where we had that crazy day where we dug, I think it was 7 silver coins and a V-nickel and an Indian head penny and a bunch of other stuff. That lawn was so rich in signals that I skipped a lot of the ambiguous signals. So today we're going to go back and we're going to start digging ambiguous signals. So I don't expect we'll find as much good stuff today. We'll probably find a lot of junk. There is a little part at the back of the property that I didn't get to last time, and we'll see if I can get down there today. It's kind of a difficult area, and it looks like it's been used as a dumping ground, you know, for trash. So we'll see. It might be one of those areas where there's too much newer trash, which makes finding older trash difficult. It's all trash, right? You know, but as soon as it's like 80, 90, 100 years old, suddenly it's relics. Such is the way of history. Yeah, so anyway, we're headed back over there, and I will see you at the first find. Well, I've been here about 20 minutes. This is the third hole I've dug. First hole had 3 wheat pennies in it. Crazy. And then it was the last high tone from my last time out here. I had this high tone over here and I was just too tired, and I said I'll pick it up when I come back. So that was 3 wheat pennies. It had a speculative tone, an ambiguous tone right next to it. 1718 on the Knox 800, and I decided to go for it this time. And I'm sure glad I did. Have a look. Unless I mistake myself, and I am having trouble reading the date right now, I believe that's an 1890 Indian head cent. So that's a good 130-year-old coin. The pollen is terrible today. Whew! I had such a coughing fit when I first got here. I inhaled a little pollen and then I couldn't clear it. Crazy. Yeah, my car is all covered in yellow dust. It's just wicked today. It's wicked. So I don't know. I may end up having to cut the day short. We'll see. We'll see how much the pollen bothers me. But oh, that's beautiful. Beautiful way to start. A nice 130-year-old coin. I'm going to send her a picture of this to the homeowner. I know she'll like it. And I'll get that home. I'll get it cleaned up. I'll get the crud off, reveal the patina, and then it should be easier to check the date. But I'm pretty sure it's in 1890. All right. See what else is here. So back in the day, before people appreciated just how toxic lead was, they used it for everything. You know, nowadays we shudder at the thought of you know, lead being in our environment because we know how harmful it is. But there was a time when people would give lead toys to children, and we just dug one up. So this is a beautiful old lead artillery man. There he is. You can see he's a little soldier with a piece of artillery there, and he's aiming it towards whatever. He's heavy as heck. A big solid chunk of lead. I think it's lead. I mean, I guess it could be die-cast metal, but it sure feels like lead by its weight. The cannon, or the whatever it is, the howitzer, seems to have snapped off there. But that's pretty neat. It's definitely old. I didn't see any name on it or anything like that, or any writing, but maybe when I get it home and get it clean, I'll find some indication of who made it, and then I can trace back the age. But that is one neat little toy. Not something I would give to a kid now, but yeah, that's what happens when you chase after the ambiguous signals. You get weird stuff. And wheat pennies, apparently, in this yard. I've dug up another 8 or 9 wheat pennies already. It's crazy. All right, we'll keep going. Apparently, I'm digging up the Lost Battalion today. Got ourselves another one of these lead army dudes. This guy seems to be sitting on a box, eating some soup or something. He's held up pretty good. It's heavy though. Whew. He was way down there. Good foot. This one rang up like an Indian head penny. I got excited, so. But this is cool. I'll take this. Very nice. All right. I wonder if there's a hold squad here or something. Whew. That's a lot of lead in the soil. Wouldn't want to eat any tomatoes grown out here. All right, let's keep going. Well, this isn't amazing, but it's a little cool. Have a look. This is a little tiny brass ring that would have been worn on a little tiny finger. There was a stone in it at one time, probably glass. It's long since fallen out. And why would you put a real jewel in a brass ring, right? I imagine this was worn by a little girl. It's very, very small. I couldn't even put my pinky through there, I don't think. Pretty cool, though. I doubt there'll be anything etched on it, but we'll check it when we get home. Nice. That's very slick. All right. I'll take it. Let's see what else is here. Well, I don't know how I missed this last time, but apparently I did. We just scored. Silver on the board. See it? That looks like a Washington quarter to me. Let's pull that puppy out of there. Oh yeah. There's a lovely Washington. 1940. Don't see a mint mark. 1940p. Silver Washington quarter. That's silver number 8 from this yard. That's, of course, only the first one I found today. Wasn't really expecting to find any, but you can't find them all, I guess. So that's lovely. Another little piece of silver to add to the pile that came out of this yard. Any day you find silver is a good day. 10W Gets. Your Gets is as good as mine. Yeah, I know. Don't quit my day job. I have no idea what this is. Rang up like a penny. And on the back side it says the same thing, 10W Gets, and it has these grooves in it. I have no idea what this is for. No idea. But I'm hoping that when I get it home I'll be able to look it up and I don't know. It's one of those. All right. Sometimes relics don't survive the cleaning process if they're made of a strange alloy, or, you know, it's a risky run. And this interesting little token, unfortunately, I'm sorry to say, it looked better when it came out of the ground. I did not use really aggressive chemicals on this particular object. This was just soaked in some warm water and some peroxide, a little bit of hand soap, and unfortunately that was enough to strip the outer layers. You can see it more on this side. We lost some of the detail here. For the most part, though, it's all right. I have applied Renaissance wax to preserve what's left, and this is not a rare item, but it is an interesting item, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about it. What is this? This little 10W Gets token. First of all, this dates from somewhere between 1907 and 1940. And I can tell you it almost certainly came from Chicago, Illinois. What this represents is a man fighting back against people who are trying to stiff him. As you know, anytime we switch to, automated systems, someone will try to game the system. And usually Although the person gaming the system thinks they're sticking it to a big company, usually they end up sticking it to the little guy. So, what am I talking about? I'm talking about pay telephones. Now, those of you who have grown up in the era of smartphones may not know what a pay telephone is. But when I was a kid, if you were out in public and you discovered you needed to make a telephone call, you would look for these ubiquitous phone booths that were located everywhere around town, which contained a phone, and you would put some coins into a slot on the phone, and then you could make a call. So you could call your mom and say, come pick me up, or whatever, or I'm going over to Joey's house, I'm going to be late, whatever. With the advent of cell phones and smartphones and everybody having them, payphones are rare now. I haven't seen one in a while. I'm sure there probably are still a few kicking around somewhere. But payphones made their debut in the 1890s. That's when they first appeared on the scene. And as you can imagine, there's always somebody who's trying to figure out a way to stiff the other guy. So some people realized, hey, if I stick a slug into the payphone, like a washer or something, it still works. It still thinks it's a coin. I don't have to pay a nickel for my call. I'll cheat the phone company. I'll stick it to the big phone company. Well, these phones were always located in like pharmacies, drugstores, those kinds of things. And it was the owner of the establishment that was actually responsible for the phone. So when the phone company showed up to open up the phone and empty out the change box, if there were any slugs in there, the person who owned the business where the phone was had to compensate the phone company for those slugs. So if you're a pharmacist or a druggist, when the phone company shows up to collect their coins, you're almost certainly going to end up paying something out of pocket for all the jerks who came into your store and used your phone and stuck a slug in the slot thinking they were going to stick one to the telephone company. So this is a problem. Some of these independent pharmacies and things like that, they're operating at razor thin margins. So in the early 1900s, this guy named Harry Getz got tired of this, and he said, fine, I'm going to attach a device to the phone that doesn't take coins. I'm going to build a device that only takes specific tokens. These tokens will have grooves in them or punch outs in them or some sort of shape that will prevent anything but this particular kind of token from going through this particular kind of device. So the token would go through the device and then go into the phone. That way, when the phone company showed up, all of the coins in the cash box would be tokens and slugs. The difference is, if you wanted a token to put in the phone, you had to buy it from the store. So this druggist, whose name was, I was reading about it, his name was Harry Getz. He patented this idea and started a company making these tokens. And what would happen is, there was a number of different varieties, and drugstores would buy the device and then a number of the matching tokens. And if you walked into the drugstore and you wanted to make a phone call, you had to buy the token to use the phone. That prevented you from cheating the druggist out of his nickel, which I think is a clever idea. And that's what this is. This is a 10W Getz telephone token is what this was called, a telephone token. And they were in use until, I think I read on this article, the 1940s. It says they're primarily made of brass. That's not brass. Brass shouldn't have done that. Probably made of something cheaper than brass. But there you go. So this tiny little obscure little object, which I had no idea what it was, and the homeowner was puzzling over it too, comes from Chicago, and it represents someone trying to protect his livelihood. I think that's pretty neat. I think that's a neat little story of invention, and something interesting about this find. And that's it. I was really interested in the telephone token story. I found a PDF online that tells the whole story about this Harry Getz guy and what he did. And I will provide a link to it in the video description. So go check that out if you want to read it. It's a good article. Yeah, neat. Okay, moving right along. I'm still cleaning. I have these little soldiers to do. They've been soaking in just very gentle soap water mix. I don't think I'm going to use any strong chemicals on those. There's always a risk with old relics like that. If they're painted and you use strong cleaners, the paint comes right off. So that's not going to happen this time, though. This not in this kind of treatment, not for this kind of paint. Anyway, I guess that's it. Back to the episode. Ring number 2. This one is also junk jewelry. Seems more modern, but it's really falling apart. There you go. Definitely not made of anything precious. Just costume jewelry. Looks like it had a bunch of little glass studs in it. A lot of them have fallen out. Well, a ring is a ring, I guess. I got a box full of them at home, so I guess we'll take that home and add it to the box. Well, finds are starting to get slow, and so am I. I did hike down into that swampy area down there. Guess what I found? More wheat pennies. A couple more wheat pennies way sunk deep in the swamp. It's crazy. A lot of trash down there. Very icky, lots of bugs. So I came back out here. I'm working next to this big tree. Had a pretty high tone, and it was right near the surface. Looks like it's a button. That does not look like a 19th century button to me. It does have a shank on the back, but it looks more modern. I'll take this home, clean it up. We'll get a better look at it. I don't see any back marks on it. It's just going to be a coat button. Looks like it's made of brass. That's cool. I'll take a button. I'm just about done. I'm gonna putter a little bit more here, and then yeah, I gotta bug out. Getting tired, getting hungry. Haven't eaten yet today, so all right, back to it. Looks like we just turned up a pocket knife. Those blades weren't stainless steel, that's for sure. I don't know, something about it looks like 70s to me, but it might be older. But yeah, just a little pocket knife, nothing special, not a Swiss Army, I don't think. But clearly not stainless, that's too bad. Anyway, pretty neat. Whoops, right into the bag it goes. Okay, right into the bag. Well, that's another successful hunt. We hit the yard pretty hard the last time we were here, and we picked out tons and tons of high tones, and today we were here to look for the speculative tones. So the expectation was, we weren't going to find as many coins or silver today. It was going to be more about relics. And we did turn up a few relics. There was a lot of trash you didn't see. It's in my bag here. But let's go over the good things that we found today. All right, first of all, wheat pennies, anybody? Another 17 wheat pennies. It's crazy. It is crazy. And then a little bit of modern clad, who cares? A dime, a couple nickels, 3 pennies. We had this lovely pocket knife, this little brass child's ring, this button, which I don't think is old, but I'll do some research. The 10W Getz disc, no idea what that is. This little piece of costume jewelry, turns out it belongs to the lady of the house, and she lost it some time ago. It's not worth anything. It's not sentimental to her, but I'm going to return it to her just the same. Then we had our lovely, they're either lead or die cast. They might be die cast. They're very heavy, but they might be die cast metal. So we have an artilleryman, and we have a soldier sitting on a box eating something, soup or something. I'm going to give at least one of these to the homeowner. I might give both of them to the homeowner because her husband collects old toys. This is exactly the kind of thing that he would like. And yeah, they're cool, but that's okay. You know, these people have been super nice to me. They've let me keep almost everything I found, so I'm quite happy to give them these toys. So, but they are going to let me take them home and clean them up, so we'll get high-res pics. Not sure what that is. At first I thought it might be a watch winding key, but it's too big. I don't know what that is. I don't know. Rang up high, but looks like it's just a piece of junk. We found this key from the ILCO, the Independent Lock Company of Fitchburg, Mass. And then, of course, the finds of the day, I think, will be this silver Washington, a 1940p, and what I believe is an 1890 Indian head penny. Can't say for certain. Well, I'll get it home and I'll get the Endrace pencils on it and clean it up some. But that is pretty good for a yard that we already hit really hard last week. Another piece of silver, another Indian, love that, and some wonderful old relics. Anyway, I had a great time today, despite the pollen. The scenery is beautiful, it's quiet here, and it's a beautiful yard. These people are lucky. Anyway, I enjoyed having you along with me. I hope you had fun today, and most of all, I hope I'll see you on the next hunt. And hey, hit that like button and subscribe, will you? Your guess is as good as mine.